I'm sure you have much to tell me, but first I must ask, why of all people did Yuri send you? I thought our arrangement was for the Black Eagles to take the were-dragon, while Yuri rescued the Dampier. You can only imagine my surprise when, after losing our quarry, we followed the trail all the way to a Blue Lion's camp, only to find you were swept away by him, then sent back to us. What is the meaning of this? Surely he knows of less complicated means to send me a covert message. Hold, please. I am finding this predicament quite mind-tangling. You say you are not the were-dragon? No, that much does make sense to me, unfortunately. It seems we have confused you for someone else. Although something tells me that Yuri knew the difference. Do not allow the voices in this camp to fog your mind. If you say with conviction that you are half dragon, half vampire, then it is indeed so. But you must keep this to yourself. You were not supposed to come here. I may not understand his convoluted schemes in full, but certainly Yuri did not wish to share your existence with Lady Edelgard. If he sent you to the Blue Lions, it wasn't with the knowledge that we had caught your trail once more. Ah, now that makes more sense. Those eyes Yuri mentioned being on him when he abandoned you in the woods, they were most certainly the eyes of the Black Eagles. I suppose that leaves it up to me to sort out the chaos left in his wake. Very well, allow me a moment to think. What would he have me do now? Contact him? As if he would make it so easy. No, Yuri cannot move so easily in these woods. I believe you've already crossed paths with the morning patrol, yes? And that's not to mention Hubert and his flyovers. He wouldn't dare allow anyone to sneak up on Lady Edelgard, least of all the mockingbird that causes them all such deep concern. Do not get the wrong impression. Yuri has not done anything wrong. Or at least, nothing Hubert or Lady Edelgard would protest against. The trouble is that he doesn't agree with their actions, and yet both set their sights on the same castle. Some time ago, a human was transformed into a were-dragon by a transfusion of dragon's blood gifted to them by the Dragon Queen herself. Naturally, once Linhart unraveled that secret, the Black Eagles took a special interest, particularly because that were-dragon seems to be avoiding the Dragon Queen rather than helping her. Logically, if she's done it once, we can assume she's created were-dragon soldiers innumerable times, which in turn means any dissenting soldiers we can find would be our greatest asset in defeating her. Short of forming an alliance with the entirety of Elmira, the Black Eagles have very few means of contending with the sheer force of dragon strength. The reason Dorothea didn't tell you that much is simple. She doesn't know. All of the Black Eagles were told, of course, that we would be rescuing a were-dragon. It's simply too dangerous an operation on a full moon night to not tell them. But as for the source of that transfusion, Lady Edelgard felt it would damage morale if all the strike force knew the Dragon Queen as the means of creating an army of dragons to stand in our way. Only 4 of us are aware of the full situation. Lady Edelgard, Hubert, her retainer, Linhard, who is the one who discovered all this, and myself. Well, obviously they would tell me. I am their greatest asset. The power of House Nouvelle's witches is unmatched, and even among my own kin I was once considered a prodigy. In fact, I have been entrusted with the critical task of developing spells and elixirs which can grant our forces the strength of 10 dragons each, so that we may contend with any army the Dragon Queen creates. But I have strayed from the subject at hand. All of that is to say, Yuri also caught wind of the dissenting were-dragon created by the Dragon Queen. And before you ask, no, I was not the one to tell him. He knew well before us, in fact. But according to him, the were-dragon is an expert in covering their tracks. I suppose they must be, in order to avoid the Dragon Queen recapturing them for all this time. I should have realized sooner when we caught the trail so easily. I am not a traitor, if that is what you are implying. You should know just as well as I that not everyone who wears a mockingbird is a blind servant of the man himself. I serve my own morals first and foremost, as is expected of House Nouvelle. I am a Black Eagle and a supporter of Edelgard's cause. But I will admit, not every one of her decisions has settled well with me. I do believe in Yuri's vision of a liminal space, for those who cannot find security among their own nor among the opposite side of the supernatural human line. Lady Edelgard believes that eliminating the hierarchy of supremacy will eliminate the exiling of those who are different. But she has only ever been different in her support of interspecies communities. Those whose differences set them aside from both humans and supernaturals, they will still struggle to find a place in her world. I stand with Lady Edelgard, but I believe Yuri has the best offer for those who cannot be accepted under her banner. That is why I help him. In any case, I've been keeping an eye out for any signs of the were-dragon's trail, to pass along to him and aid his search. I see no reason why that rebellious soldier couldn't help the both of us. Both Lady Edelgard and Yuri's plans need the Dragon Queen to be subdued, after all. What I should have realized was that if Yuri, of all people, could not pick up the trail, then it is most suspicious that we would have such an easy time of it once we caught the were-dragon's scent. Regrettably, I allowed myself to be swept up in the excitement and never stopped to ask if we really had the right trail. Oh, I am sure Yuri realized it. I ought to know better by now than any offer from that trickster, which sounds too good to be true, most certainly is. He struck a deal with me on behalf of the Black Eagles, saying he would happily allow us to take in the were-dragon once we'd freed them, provided I helped him free a second prisoner. That, I believe, would be where you come in. The reason the Black Eagles are so suspicious of Yuri now is because they noticed him investigating the same castle we tracked the were-dragon soldier to. But the reason he was investigating that place has nothing to do with the soldier. There have been a series of kidnappings lately, as you may be aware. Actually, people with rare and powerful abilities have been going missing across Fodlan for years. A mutual friend of ours was one such victim, which is how we knew where to look when Yuri caught wind of a half-dragon Dampier being held prisoner by the same cabal. Indeed, the 10 elites still live, and they held you captive to use as a battery. Once Yuri learned of your existence, he sought me out, seeking my professional magical opinion. The unfortunate nature of that castle and those monsters' insatiable hunger is that we cannot rescue all of their victims. But Yuri feared, and rightly so, that the blood of even a half-dragon would grant them power beyond any of the blood they'd already stolen. We had to free you. Yuri's bargain was thus. He would free you himself, and in exchange, I would not tell the Black Eagles of your existence. No doubt they would want to convince you to join their cause instead of his. But he also promised me we could recruit the were-dragon in your stead, if I just provided an opening for him to invade the castle that same night. Only now do I understand he said that knowing we hadn't found the were-dragon soldier at all. So, now you understand my confusion as to how you ended up back in our camp. No, the man who rescued you was most certainly Ferdinand. I do not believe Yuri entered the castle at all that night. The reason Yuri needed an opening to invade the castle is because of the memory spells cast over it. Last time he was able to talk his way inside in order to rescue our friend, but even for a clever bird like him, talking one's way into the same fortress twice is a task that would give even Seros herself pause. I was supposed to help by convincing Ferdinand to take me on as his +1 and then switching places with Yuri. Unfortunately, the others feared I would be too recognizable, and given all that has happened with my family, there was no way to reasonably argue for my attendance. Ah, you aren't aware. No wonder you did not afford House Nouvelle the respect it deserves. My noble house were very public opponents to the segregation of humans and supernaturals. My parents even pushed for legislation limiting the Dragon Queen's ongoing practice of impressing the newly turned upon rural supernatural communities where the populace had little to no power to refuse. You may have heard from the others here, but the Dragon Queen does not take kindly to criticism, and neither do her supporters. It wasn't long after that when my home was invaded. I do not wish to think of such things. All that is relevant to you is the knowledge that I would be most recognizable as a dissenter among those foul attendees, and so it was decided Dorothea must go instead. In turn, Yuri was forced to pivot. He was waiting in the woods outside the castle that night. Once we had finished our work and set the were-dragon free, he would take on the appearance of Dorothea and ask to be let back inside, before anyone noticed she and Ferdinand had absconded from the party. This would buy our escape more time, and allow him entry with permission, avoiding the memory spells. Or at least, that is the plan he relayed to me. But if he already knew at the time that there would be no were-dragon inside, surely he couldn't have known Ferdinand would be caught in the act. I am most certain Yuri would not have been able to enter the castle, so he could not have orchestrated any of the ongoings within. Did he truly just hazard a bet on our success? I haven't heard from Yuri since that night. That is why I thought perhaps you would have a message from him. It isn't unusual for him to lay low, of course, and it has been trickier than usual to communicate now that the Black Eagles are more aware of him. Perhaps I ought to take comfort in the message he left for the girls who found you. At least he survived the heist. Do not mistake me. I am still quite furious at being lied to. And perhaps most vexing is that I cannot work out where the lies begin. Certainly the evidence Linhart came across of the transfusion was true, and we now know you were not the one transforming into a dragon under a full moon, which means those reports we traced of sightings must have been of the rebellious soldier. Even if they were not captured, they must have crossed your path at some point for us to have mixed the trail. Indeed, Dorothea spoke with the forest itself. I wonder, were you with the were-dragon when you were taken? Or did you simply follow after them, drawn in the same direction for some unknown reason? There were no signs of a trail after that point, which means that once again they disappeared without a trace. No one can say where they went, or if they were able to escape the same fate. Too true. If anyone besides the were-dragon themselves knew, it would be Yuri. Perhaps that is where he disappeared to. No, I must not allow my frustrations to cloud my reasoning. There is something bothering me about that message you recounted. Seek out the elves, you'll find contacts in the village. Do not take it to heart, but I doubt Yuri sent you there simply to settle your own existential crisis. No, if he sent you to find elves, he no doubt was sending you toward the golden deer. And if that is the case, then my dear Balthus is in quite some trouble for failing to intercept you. Just as I expected. You haven't met him at all, have you? Oh, you would know if you had. A towering barbarian of a man with tangled hair and an allergy to buttoning his shirts properly. I just hope for his sake he wasn't out gambling the night he was meant to meet you. One would hope such a blunder would not be repeated. Perhaps now that you know who to look for, you shall be able to aid him in this duty. I will fetch you a map post-haste. No, you cannot possibly stay here. Setting aside the fact that Yuri undoubtedly will come looking for you at Balthus's side once he feels more secure, if you stay with the Black Eagles for much longer, you will become a willing prisoner. Indeed, they did say you were free to go. But once you've spent more time and learned the rhythms of this operation, the liability you pose will grow to worrying levels. And that is to say nothing of their rising suspicions against Yuri now that they've noticed his lingering about the 10 elites. I have served Lady Edelgard loyally, and yet it will mean nothing if they discover even one moment of aid I have offered to Yuri. You are a near stranger to them. They would show you no mercy. You are allied with Yuri by the simple nature of his having saved your life. Is that not why you wear the mockingbird? Wishing to know more from that slippery shadow is a form of allegiance. Know that he will hold his tongue for as long as it benefits himself above all else. Now here, take this map. You will find your destination marked in red. Keep it out of sight until you are well beyond the river, lest a patrol spot you and determine your goal. And do not leave camp in a hurry. When Dorothea returns, tell her you're hungry and share a meal. Then make an excuse to use the bathroom and slip off before she notices. Do not let her ask you about that mockingbird either. You must leave before the Black Eagles realize the connection. My reaction upon meeting you was certainly a misstep. If I am unable to convince Dorothea it was a meaningless coincidence, I may have to abandon this camp as well. When you do see Yuri, do let him know of my predicament. I pray it will not be too long before we can speak again. The one good thing we have going for us at this moment is that the Black Eagles don't seem to have realized the full truth. Guard your secrets close, my friend.